Jessy is a kitty pet who shows up in just the second half of Bramblestar's storm. She's a stranger who comes into ThunderClan after the flooding that drives several kitty pets out of their homes. She's exceptionally competent and takes to ThunderClan more easily than any kitty pet or outsider ever does. She is a love interest for Bramblestar, but ultimately decides to leave ThunderClan as she doesn't want to come between Bramblestar and his existing family, nor to compete with Squirrelflight. Never mind that Squirrelflight and Bramblestar were broken up at the time and all of their children were adults. I don't really need or want to summarize Jessy's life, as she only appeared in one book, and there aren't very many contradictions to her character as presented in that one book. We don't need a more complete picture of her because the picture we have is basically already complete. Obviously, there's a few things to go over anyways, regardless of that. For example, there's the fact that, in a lot of ways, her character mirrors Squirrelflight's. She's hot-headed to a certain point and easily offended, and is very abrasive in the way that she talks. When comparisons are drawn between kitty pets and warriors, she's quick to defend herself and all kitty pets from the idea that they're lesser. Additionally, early on in the book, some characters seem to anticipate her making a comment or arguing. Overall, her behavior is actually rather rude. She calls her longtime friends flea brains, very close to the way that Squirrelflight acts around others. She's dismissive about several elements of clan life at first, and aggressive with Squirrelflight when she makes a snide comment about the blankets that Bramblestar stole from the Two Legs. Despite this, she says nothing a few paragraphs earlier when Jayfeather is being, just about as rude. That said, while she does have this personality quirk, she never really gets any negative repercussions for it. It's just part of her. Additionally, her attitude seems to change drastically depending on who she's dealing with. While towards most cats she's a bit spicy, towards Bramblestar she becomes adoring very quickly. She defends him from a perceived attack on his character from Squirrelflight just as they reach camp, and she goes on a walk with Bramblestar soon after. Obviously, throughout this walk, as it's early on in the book, she is very defensive of kitty pets, Bramblestar mentioning hunting and Two Legs and defending her multiple times in a row, and he gets past this by mentioning Firestar was a kitty pet, and Jessy starts spending almost all available time with him soon after. Meanwhile, Squirrelflight is instantly jealous. While Jessy is a lot like Squirrelflight in personality, the book makes it clear that she's a lot more physically capable than Bramblestar's ex-wife. In this passage, Jessy leaps easily while Squirrelflight struggles in the same breath, Bramblestar pulling her the rest of the way by the scruff while she protests. The authors want you to be seeing these two cats and be comparing them to some extent. I don't really have any commentary on if or not, it's in character for Squirrelflight to be bad at, jumping off a log and swimming to shore? Actually, no, I do have an opinion. It's that she should be bad at it because she's been bad at all water-related activities since the beginning of time. Jessy is flirty with Bramblestar and makes it clear that she's interested in him. Bramblestar thinks highly of her as well, almost instantly, being repeatedly impressed by her competence and her enthusiasm for clan life. She is a magnet. Often it's said that Jessy is younger than Squirrelflight, and I'm gonna give Bramblestar the benefit of the doubt here. I think what people mean to say is that Jessy acts like young Squirrelflight, and not that there's some sort of, hotter, younger woman who's walked into Bramblestar's life. I could be missing something, but I am pretty sure that they never say that Jessy is, younger than Squirrelflight. And I think you should also consider that Squirrelflight's only, 5 here. So, to be younger than Squirrelflight, significantly younger than Squirrelflight, she'd have to be, 2? It's silly. There's nothing wrong with Bramblestar being interested in a different cat while him and Squirrelflight are broken up, just fundamentally, and Squirrelflight shouldn't be jealous in this situation, but, she is, and that's fine too. It's interesting and fun when girls are bad. But also, she's right to be mad when Bramblestar seems to be ignoring his duties in favor of flirty strolling, but that's not the point here. I do not see a problem with Bramblestar and Jessy. There just simply isn't one. Her age is never really implied, and she's not childish, just resembling of another character back when she was. But you might get the impression somewhere, and keep in mind it's been 7 or 8 years since I started really actively making Warrior Cats content again, that I'm not really fond of Jessy. I don't remember where, but I probably said it somewhere, and this is complicated. Jessy isn't a bad person. She's just very perfect, genuinely. Her capabilities are high, she has no repercussions for her abrasive behavior, her entire attitude is like it was created in a lab to be attractive to Bramblestar, she's insightful and smart and can solve problems easily, she has almost zero flaws aside from being defensive, and even more so than Squirrelflight, she's just never in the wrong. I have in the past occasionally mentioned her as if she was a bit of a Mary Sue. I'm not sure how I feel about this now, though. A lot of cats in Warriors get the phrase Mary Sue pointed at them. Dovewing for being a girl who has two love interests. Squirrelflight for being a girl who has two love interests. Bristlefrost for being a girl. Leafpool, well, you get the idea. And then, very occasionally, Firestar, because people don't remember the first series. I don't like using the term casually. The first reason for this is because it's almost entirely, strictly a fanfiction term. Using it to describe material that isn't fanfiction or fanwork feels silly because it encompasses fanfiction tropes. The second reason is because it's very gendered. Yeah, sure, people will call Firestar a Mary Sue, but 9 times out of 10, it's being used by this fandom in particular on any female character who experiences love triangles or typically girly drama. It's not usually factoring in the actual experiences, personalities, believability, or capabilities of the character. Girls who check less boxes get accused of this more so than boys who check more boxes. If we look at Dovewing, for example, if you call Dovewing a Mary Sue, you're ignoring almost everything about her personality in favor of the fact that she gets into romantic situations and she has superpowers, ignoring, the 2 boys who came before her. And the third reason is, for a character to be considered a Mary Sue by me, I think that character needs to be breaking something. Established canon, established lore, established personalities of characters. Stargleam, for example, from Stargate's Prophecy, is a very purposefully crafted character for this. She ruins every element of Warrior Cat's canon she can, and doesn't fit into the world at all. She is made a warrior 3 days into training, she is made leader without having met the requirements to be a leader in Warrior Cats. Jessy does feel more like a Mary Sue than other characters, because she's a newcomer who settles into clan life too quickly, who's just as technically skilled as the existing warriors, who's smart enough to know how to contribute to discussions about inter-clan conflicts. And on top of this, obviously, our protagonist, the leader, the most important person in the clan, falls in love with her. On top of all this, she's morally perfect and just leaves him so that he can be with his real love, who she's written to be superior to in every way. But Jessy is still plausible. She's still believable. She's not breaking anything because she's just a cat. She's a smart cat. She's a capable cat. She's so boringly flawless that it's hard to empathize with her, but she's not breaking anything. Sure, we could say it's kind of unrealistic that Bramblestar lets her in on serious clan business so quickly, but I don't think that's unbelievable for him, a man we never really saw as leader until this book. Sure, I can't imagine Bluestar letting this happen, but Bramblestar is Bramblestar, and not only that, he is super attracted to her, and I'm not going to put anything past him. And again, this isn't fanfiction. Vicky made this cat up. We can't even say that it's a new team weirdness. She's as real as a Warrior Cat's character can be. So, what is she for? She's a vehicle for the authors to make Bramblestar and Squirrelflight make up. That's it. She is there to look Bramblestar in the eyes and say, look, you're still in love with your ex-wife, and she's still in love with you, and I refuse to be a homewrecker, so goodbye forever. And for Bramblestar to go, oh no, well I guess she's right, but oh no. She's there to be perfect. Her goal is to be perfect. She's perfect for a while, and then she leaves. We're not supposed to be seeing Jessy and thinking, geez, this woman doesn't have any emotional or physical struggles whatsoever. We're supposed to see her and our 12-year-old brains are supposed to go, oh, is she going to marry Bramblestar? What will Squirrelflight do? How does Bramblestar feel? She's not there to be three-dimensional. She's not there to be the protagonist. And she's certainly not there to be the author's self-insert romancing Bramblestar. She's written as a force of nature on Bramblestar's existing relationship drama and not really as a person. In this purpose, though, I do think she could have done a better job. Jessy makes herself clear as a largely flawless person. Even Squirrelflight, who spends most of the book jealous of Jessy, accepts her, and accepts her possible place in the clan and as Bramblestar's mate, seemingly. It's a little bit of a vague conversation, but that seems to be what's going on here. Like, you can tell she's not entirely happy with this situation, but at the same time, she's saying, like, I'm okay with it. You can do this. She can live here. Meanwhile, Jessy sees that Squirrelflight and Bramblestar have made up and repaired their relationship, and for some reason, it heavily considers the value of their adult children that they raised together, as if it means that Bramblestar's loyalties as a mate will always be divided having raised them. Her behavior in leaving the clan is very self-sacrificial, like, I need to leave so that you can be with Squirrelflight, your first love. But no, Jessy, you really don't. What are you going to do? Uncomplicate Bramblestar and Squirrelflight's working relationship? Please be my guest, lady. Sorry, I only date guys who have never been in any other relationships ever. Goodbye. My dating profile is very clear when it says, no single parents and nobody with a good relationship with their ex. So I don't think the whole thing was perfect. She really exists to say, hey, Bramblestar, look, your wife. And Bramblestar goes, oh, my wife? What an idea. So that's Jessy. That's who Jessy is. That's what Jessy is for. I hope she comes back someday, though. She would probably be a bit of an old lady, but I'd love to see the new team do that sort of silly, like, here's an old character callback that Vicky used to do all the time. It gave you a sense of, like, object permanence, you know? I don't think a lot of, like, the incidental characters that the new team comes up with, really exist to be more than incidental. Maybe I'm wrong, and we're looking at a future where we just see the sisters Tom Leaf over and over and over again. To be like, hi, I'm Leaf. Do you want me to call my mom? Okay, I'm calling her now. Anyway, this was a mini talking, so I'm not taking voted suggestions on the next one. That will probably be Mousefur, though. I'm gonna say it's probably Mousefur. I gotta double check those comments, but I'm almost sure.